Hey guys, Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going to be talking about 7 must-haves if you are a ball python owner. So let's get started. Hey guys, so today we're breaking down things that you should have if you are getting a pet ball python or you already have one. We're going to show you 7 really important things that are must-haves, and we'll do a few honorable mentions as well. So the first thing, if people are getting ball pythons, I always tell them to get is this thing right here. This is what is known as a temperature gun. So anything that you shoot it at, you're going to get the exact temperature of what that is. So the reason why this is so important is whether you have a under the cage heating mat, you have a bulb, you have anything like that, this is the best way to test it. That way you can see exactly what the hot spot of the enclosure is and the cold side of the enclosure, which is incredibly important for a ball python. Don't expect just to put some random bulb in a fixture and just hope that it's going to be the right temperature. You have to know exactly. These are very picky animals, and if you don't have the perfect setup, they're not going to thrive for you. If you are curious about what the exact temperatures, humidity, care, all that kind of stuff is, recommended cage sizes, the best way to heat your animals, we have a ton of videos. We have whole playlists for people who are new for ball pythons, so make sure you go and check that out once you're done with this video. The next thing is, how are you cleaning this animal? I heard a lot of people who just use bleach or who just use water. They don't really know what to use. This right here, these are 2 different options. This product is called F10. There is veterinarian grade disinfectant and there is cleaner sanitizer. Either one, I like the disinfectant. You can use the cleaner sanitizer one. I have both just in case, but this right here, I have been using this bottle since we did this video. We did a very similar video. It was one of our first ever videos. I was brand new to making videos, so if you've seen that one, definitely comment below that you did. But I'm still using the exact same bottle. All you have to do is you dilute it in water. I go and I get a big bottle like this. I write F10 so I make sure I know that it's in there. You have a little second canister right here. You squeeze, fill it up to 10 milliliter, pour it in, fill water, shake it up. It's going to bubble a little bit. And now you have disinfectant that's going to last you a very long time. One of these lasts quite a while. And as you can see, I still have about 1/3 of the bottle left. Whoops. I still have about 1/3 of the bottle left. A little less now that I just filled some. I got about half of the cleaner sanitizer left as well. So, F10 disinfectant, I would highly recommend getting yourself a bottle. Even if it's 30-40 bucks to get that bottle, that's probably going to last you as long as you have that snake. Right here, we're going to show you a little clip. This is a Reptile Thermostat. You know how I mentioned before, if you had a bulb or if you have a heating pad, pretty much anything you can use a Reptile Thermostat with, especially a heating pad, heating tape, or a radiant heat panel. You want to make sure that you know exactly what temperature, and even if you have, let's say, a heat tape with a probe on it and you've set your thermostat to 93 degrees, it doesn't necessarily mean where the ball python can actually touch is going to be 93 degrees. So that's why no matter what, you still want to get you one of these. Plus, you could have, let's say, a perfect 90-degree hot spot, but your cold side's 88. That's way too warm, or it's way too cold on the cold side. So you still definitely want to get you one of these. Number 4. Super inexpensive. I think this is like $10 or $15. This is mite spray. Snakes can get mites, especially ball pythons. So if you just have one pet snake and you never go anywhere like other pet stores or reptile shows, you really have nothing to worry about, especially if you've had that animal for a while. But all it takes is one mite. Let's say you go to a reptile show, you hold a cute snake, a mite jumps on your shirt, you come home and you touch your snake. Now you could get an infestation in just a couple of weeks or months. So always have this on hand. I always keep a bottle. I've had the same bottle probably for 10 years. I probably should get a new one, to be honest. Not that they have an expiration date, but you want to have it just as a precaution. If you go and you buy a brand new baby from a person you don't really know or trust, or you have multiple snakes and you want to quarantine one, that's fantastic. You definitely should. I would highly recommend spraying this on any new snakes that you bring in just as a precaution. Also, there's tons of different brands. You don't have to use this one, but this is just the one that I happen to buy. So this right here, I know we talked about the temperature gun, but this right here tells you the temperature and relative humidity and it would be perfect of an enclosure. This is actually one that goes in my other Ackies cage, and if they mess with it or just spill a lot of water on it, they will malfunction. But this one actually has a magnet on the back, so we can actually stick it up a little bit. But over time, keep in mind, especially with the ball python, they're probably going to knock it over, but at least put it in there. That's a really good way to know if you're at least close with your humidity, your temperature range and stuff like that, or if there's a big spike or a big drop. It's the first sign for you to be checking on what's going on. Number 6, make sure you have access to different size enclosures. So if you have a baby, I'll show you our 6-quart hatchling rack that we build. Obviously, if you just have one snake, you don't need that whole entire setup, but this is just showing you different bin sizes, because after that, you're going to want to switch to a 12 or 28 quart, which is this one right here. This rack happens to hold both sizes, which is perfect. Once you're done with that 28 quart, then you're going to jump up to a 41 quart. Some people keep ball python males in the 28, but you definitely want to go to that 41 quart minimum if you have a female or if you've got a bigger male. The reason why you want access to these is a lot of people buy a baby snake and they just want to buy it one very large PVC enclosure. That's not how it works with ball pythons. You have to slowly increase their cages. Some snakes will tolerate it, but most snakes, it's very overwhelming. They get super stressed if you put them in too large of a cage too quickly, and they're not going to want to eat for you, and they're going to not do well for you. So make sure you have access to different size enclosures. And on that same topic, make sure you have space for a full-grown ball python's cage. A 3x2x1 is the biggest PVC cage you're going to need. This is actually a 5x2x2. These are for Ackie monitors, but it's the same general setup. It would just be a lot smaller. Number 7. This one's obviously for F10, but we've got other ones for just water. Make sure you have access to a spray bottle. Occasionally, you're going to have to mist your animal. I highly recommend keeping them on something like GAPS bedding, which is a cocoa husk. I'll put up a little picture right here. It is a very nice bedding. It keeps a really nice humidity and it's absorbent, so it works really good when they go to the bathroom. It's a lot better than, for example, newspaper or paper towel. You can use things like aspen, but those are going to mold very, very quickly, and I normally don't recommend it for ball pythons. Now, these are a few things that are not necessary, but they are things that I think you could benefit from having. Number 1, this is a snake hook, so you can get your snake out, especially if you're a new owner, if you're nervous, if you're anxious, you don't want to get bit, you're scared, that's totally okay. Get your snake out with the hook and then put it in your hand. A lot of times, reaching a hand in, they're going to see it with their thermal and they're just not going to know exactly what it is, and they're going to strike first, ask questions later, because they think that you're food. Especially if it's, let's say, a full-grown ball python, and you're wearing a sleeve, this looks like the size of a rat. So they just don't know what they're striking at. They're hungry. So if you want to hook train, we've got an entire video on it. This is something that I'd recommend. You can get them online, or you can just go to a local reptile show. Feeding tongs are awesome. If you are doing frozen thawed, you can pick it up, you can make it dance, you can do all that kind of stuff, and you can actually feed it to your animal. If this doesn't work, you can also put a frozen thawed overnight, let's say on their hide somewhere in the cage. That way the snake has the option to eat it at night. Some snakes don't like when you make it dance. Others, that's the only time that they will eat, but these are really good to have. And lastly, this is a scale. They're only like $15–20 on Amazon. It can check grams. The reason why I say that these are a really good thing to have, a good idea, let's say you just have a pet and it's not really eating a lot, especially in winter. A lot of snakes go off feed, especially males in winter, and you're getting nervous and you can't tell if they're losing weight or not. If you weigh them once a month, every month, it's only 12 times you got to put them on this, you can see exactly how their weight's doing, how they're growing. You can kind of chart it out, monitor it. Even if you just have it on a little piece of paper taped on the side of their enclosure, you can write down their feedings, or you can write down what they're weighing. Let's say they skip 4 meals in a row and you look and they've only lost 5 grams, it's no big deal if it's an adult. Or they only skip 1 meal but they've dropped a lot of weight. You could find out that something more serious is wrong. So I highly recommend getting one of these if possible. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We do new videos every single week. So we'll see you in the next video.